morning everybody, it's Saturday the 8th of February 2025. Here we are at the Wooden Boat Festival. You're looking at all the tall ships. And Greg's looking at the little ships. So this is the Endeavour replica. Some 63 years old, from Pittwater. Saturday afternoon included a big catch-up with the Shaggers group. It was a great turnout with around 30 people attending. Plenty of buskers around, including this fellow on the way down to the boat show. Final day saw some boat building in the main hall. Monday afternoon we got a car and went up Mount Wellington, and boy was it cold up there, 7 degrees with wind chill factor of God knows what. On the Tuesday we headed off for Port Arthur, a historic site out on the peninsula. Port Arthur was a surprise, beautiful, but very sombre as well. The trip to Port Arthur included a quick boat trip around the port, which included visiting the Isle of the Dead, which is where they buried everyone once they left this mortal coil. Port Arthur was also a busy shipbuilding yard. You can see on the left there where they used to build ships. In fact, over 200 ships were built during the time of Port Arthur. Out on the point adjacent to Point Arthur, which was called Point Pure, was a separate penitentiary for youths up to the age of 15. From Port Arthur we travelled north along the coast, seeing such things as Tasman Arch, the Devil's Kitchen, and a beautiful landscape along the rugged Tasmanian southeastern coastline. We even ran into some friendly locals.
Hello, Boomer. How are you, mate?
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
hungry. I've fed you. I don't know
How
how
are
many
you,
times
Boomer?
I've fed you today.
You alright, mate? Tame enough, aren't you? Big fella.
Want some fish? Yeah.
There. So I'm looking east out off the wild coast of Tasmania there. You can see the ocean's angry at the moment. Come round here. And we have the quietest little bay looking across at a place called Dewtown. Dewtown, and all the houses are called Whistledoo and Wattledoo and Nutchadoo. Quite funny. But you can see all the moorings here, the boats to anchor. Incredible. And then you look out further and it's wild. Just like Double Island Point in Queensland. Beautiful spot. And you go up that way and it's towards the National Park and the Blowhole and Tasman Arch and all of those places. And there's Linda waving. Hello, Dana. This is Whistledoo at Dewtown. This'll do me. Big, huge container shed place. Little tiny place over there. This'll do me. And this is at Dewtown.
After stopping at Port Arthur, we stayed overnight at Denali, and what better way than to enjoy a few drinks and a meal at the Denali pub.
So this is the Denali Canal, separating two big waterways. That's a moving bridge that we just drove over from the Denali pub, which is just out of sight there. And it comes through here. Heads out there. You see the current really hiking through here, and heads up out into the main bay over there. You can see the laps on the way out. Denali. Cannery Bar and Restaurant.
After leaving Denali, we decided to turn around and head down south again, and we stopped off at historic Richmond on the way.
Just at Richmond for a scallop pie, and the music's good, although I wouldn't harp on about it.
left Richmond and headed south even further, heading down the Huon Valley,
South of Franklin.
past Franklin and down to Dover.
A little Roaring Bay Beach. Looking across Bruny Island there. Just having a swim. Interesting. Have a monohull at anchor over there. Just bobbing around a bit. Not too bad though. And fish aquaculture farms out there. Salmon, I believe. Dover, looking across to Bruny Island. G'day everyone, this is Signet and that's looking towards the Sailing Club. Bit windy, so I hope you can hear me over the wind. Everything's on a mooring here by the looks of it, although there are a few at anchor. Interesting place that then goes out down towards the Huon River and finally out to sea. We're here, we're going to look for somewhere to stay, free campsite somewhere along here. We'll see how we go. Wish us luck. Hello everyone, we're at Verona Beach, which is just south of Signet. In the Huon Valley upper reaches, looking across to Bruny Island. I'll just pan around. It's a lovely beach this time of day. As you can see, it's well protected. We have it's like an old crater. Oh no, it's a monohull with a rear cockpit. Today we went with Bruny, but we went all the way down behind that island, all the way down to a place called Dover, and then all the way back up through Franklin, Huon Valley, Port Huon, round through Signet and finally to here. And there we have Linda, ready for a drink.
The next morning we drove quickly up to Kettering and caught the ferry across to Bruny Island.
Hello.
Once landing at Bruni, we drove down to the Neck Reserve where there was a penguin rookery and great views.
Bruni Island, looking south towards Adventure Bay.
This third road took us down to the bottom of Bruni Island and Bruni Island Lighthouse. Unfortunately you can't hear me over the wind, so I've had to voice over this part. Looking across to the bottom of Tasmania virtually, and south from here is nothing until you hit the Antarctica, which is why it was so cold. We left Bruni Island via the ferry and headed up to a place called Longley, and we stayed in a little free camping ground just adjacent to the Longley Hotel. From there we went up to a lovely waterhole and had a refreshing dip.
Hello there. Well, had a little walk up from the pub at Longley. Come across this waterhole. Thousands of people, but it's beautiful in there. There's Linda. She's managed to jump in. It is freezing, but it is really, really refreshing. Lovely little spot for everybody here. Thousands of people, but really nice.
So this is the Longley pub beer garden, and then we'll scan across to the campground. And if you look right up the back, you can see the van that we used for 3 or 4 days.
1861.
The next day we headed back to Richmond, dropped the camper van off and spent the night in a lovely old Airbnb. All good things must come to an end, so we jumped on the plane, left 12 degrees and landed back in Brisbane in 30. That's all for our Tassie trip. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.